Today, I'm speaking about managing your expectations as you transition into your first leadership role. Whether you moved to a different organization, moved up in your current organization, or started your own business and now you have a team, irrespective of where you are on this spectrum, I'm sure you have all of these ideas of the things that you want to accomplish within this role, with your team, in the department, with your specific job functions, and that's great. However, how do you do this in a way that you don't start to self-sabotage because you have all of these expectations? You are in this boat, keep watching. Welcome to another episode on the Grow Leadership Cafe. My name is Adesoa, and if this is your first time coming across my YouTube channel, you're very welcome. On this channel, I talk about all things personal and organizational leadership for folks who are new to management or some form of supervisory role. So if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, click on that subscription button right now and click on the notification bell so you get a buzz every time I post a video, which is every week Tuesday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Time. Moving on to the topic for today, I am talking about managing your expectations as you transition into that first leadership role. Now, you're like a diamond in the rough. It is going to be challenging, it is going to be confusing, a lot of things are not going to make sense. You're going to get sometimes incomplete information that you have to fiddle with, or information that is scattered, and you have to bring all of that together, make sense of it, and be able to use it and run with it. Now, and you have a team of people you're not responsible for. You have to make sure that they're doing their job. So you are essentially in the boat where you are playing catch up. Okay, so sometimes you see that job posting, you're like, oh, I have the core skills for this, but every organization is different. And even though you have an understanding of what that role entails within the organizational context, within that system that you have now inserted yourself into, it might look a little different. So there is a lot of learning and growth and pruning for you. And so the first thing I want to say regarding this is give it time. Your first 3 months, it's going to be like you've been hit by a bus, right? It's going to be rough. No sugarcoating there, but give it time. And by time, I say a minimum of 6 months, because that's where you start to understand, make sense of things, understand the process, what your responsibility is, what the responsibilities of your team are, and how you can intersect. Bring all of this together and start to grow your department and deliver all of your mandates. And so I'll take it 6 months, because that will be a time for you to really make sense of it. This is something that you want, this is something that you expected going into it, and now understanding what the true reality is. There are 3 main core areas that things are going to shift and your expectations are sort of going to center around. 1 is the expectations of yourself, 2 is the expectations of your team, and 3 is your own expectations of senior leadership. Now, I'm going to break all of this down, beginning with the expectations of yourself within this role. So like I said, you're walking in, you had this expectation of what this is going to look like, whether you just entered a different organization or moving up the ladder within your organization, and you're trying to make sense of the job description, and coming into work every day might just feel different. Every day, different things are thrown at you. It's very dynamic, right? And so depending on the type of work that you do, you want to give yourself the time to really process things and understand what's going on within that space. And it will be challenging, right? So I would say manage your expectations in a way that, knowing that, okay, I am going to make mistakes. A lot of these things are not going to make sense. I am going to feel safe enough to ask questions and ask for help when I need it, or guidance, or just a little bit of context as to how this was done in the past. So that way you are giving yourself the opportunity to understand how it really operates, or what that looks like in that space. And by doing it, you're going to start to see whether this is something, depending on the outcome, if this is something you want to continue to do, or if there's room for adjustments, upgrade, whatever that is. In doing that, you want to know who you're supposed to go to for that. Okay, whether that's within your team or that's your direct report, whoever it is that is your immediate supervisor, get comfortable asking for help, get comfortable asking lots of questions, because ultimately you don't know. And so these are the people who are going to help guide you towards really excelling and thriving within your role. And as a new leader, you are still probably trying to figure out your style. You don't know what it is. You're probably comparing yourself to your peer who is a manager in another department and seeing how this person just looks like they have their, for lack of a better word, shit together, right? But you are still trying to figure things out. Let me tell you something now. You're seeing someone in their reaping season. They've probably been there longer than you are, and you're just figuring things out. Okay, so don't compare yourself in your formative beginning stage to someone who's in their reaping season. You're in your sowing season right now. Okay, so give yourself, allow for that to happen. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you make a mistake, acknowledge, oh my god, that was my bad, I apologize for that. What was this like in the past? What can we do differently? But always have that open disposition to learn. And now another way to manage the expectations you have of yourself is to identify what your priorities are. So go to your immediate supervisor and talk to that person. What is my priority? What is the priority for this department? What is the priority for this season that we're in, or term, or period, or fiscal year, whatever that is? Get an understanding of what those core priorities are, because that gives you direction as to what to focus on and in working with your team. The next core area is the expectations that you have of your team. Now, you're probably thinking you've gotten into this leadership role, you're going to have a kumbaya relationship with everyone, and well, relationships take time, right? It's not a light switch that is going to happen instantly. You have to work at it. Some people will connect with you instantly. Some people might need to walk through it a little bit more. Now, whether you're the newbie going into that organization, that means you don't know anyone, right? So there are going to be those awkward moments when you have a different opinion and they don't know you yet, and so they don't understand some of your reactions or your facial expressions or your gesticulations, and you also don't know all of those things about your new team, right? So it's really being patient with them and being open to hear them out, being polite in expressing your own opinions, and having a respectful relationship with them. Now, as you are the newbie here, it means that your team knows a lot more than you do, right? If they've been once there and you're this new manager that has been put to lead them, right? So that means you would have to go to them to get clarification. Or what was this like in the past? How has this been done before? All of those things are going to sometimes come from them, right? So be humble enough to get feedback, ask questions from them, learn from them, because you don't know, you really don't, right? So it's going to them and asking, oh, where can I find this, where can I find that, what was done, how was this done in the past, what was your experience doing this specific task in the past, and being open, keeping an open mind. People will play different sorts of things with you. They want to test your boundaries, which is expected in any group environment that you're in. But be mindful of the information you receive, but have that disposition to learn, be curious about them, about their life, their experiences, their journey so far, and that's going to help you manage working with them, walking through all of the unknowns that you don't know about, and in growing and thriving within that role. And the last component of where your expectations are going to lie is your expectations of senior leadership. What sort of supports do they offer? What did you think your relationship with them is going to look like in terms of your responsibilities? What kind of leadership structure do you have? Is it more top down? Is it more bottom up? You want to make sense of what that looks like. What is the expectation of the extent of autonomy that you have within your role? These are things that you will need to figure out, and at first a lot of things, like I said, will not make sense, but be curious, ask questions. What is this like? What is the expectation for this? Is there a procedure for how this organization does something like this? What is the reporting structure? All of those things matter and will make a difference in helping you grow and thrive within this role. So I would say be very patient with yourself, be patient with others, and with time you're going to see dividends. But in those first couple months, it is going to be rocky, it is going to be confusing, it is going to feel overwhelming. You have your own core job functions, you have your team that you have to lead, you have all of your department mandate and output that you have to deliver, and all of that combined with just the personal life challenges that or life changes that you're going through will feel a tad overwhelming. But again, if you need breaks, if you need a moment for yourself, if you need a day just to self-regulate, ask for that and make sure that you're giving yourself the time to grow within this painstaking process. But I wish you the very best, and if you feel like you need more support with this, I would love to speak to you. In the description box below you can find my info to my website. You can book a leadership strategy call with me or a consultation call, whatever you feel like you need to help you grow within this process, and let's support each other. All right, but anyways, that's all I have to say on this. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. More so, click on that subscription button so you join the community and we grow together. And that's all for today. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.